Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today I'm going to talk about a phenomenon, mental load, which is quite common in our society, but sadly not many people talk about it. Mental load, which is also referred as if you needed help, you should have asked. Let's get started. It might be a long ride, but hang in there. You will understand mental load very clearly and how it affects our life, especially if you're a mother or a wife. Back when I was in my first job, a colleague invited me over for dinner. When I got there, she was trying to feed her kids while preparing a meal. From the counter, she called and said, "Have a seat, grab a drink, and I'll be right there with you." Her husband, who opened the door, sat beside me on the other sofa and started to chat. After a while, the pot started to overflow because she was busy in feeding the kids, and everything spilled onto the floor. Her husband, rather than helping her, exclaimed, "What a disaster! What did you do?" Which she replied, "What do you mean, what did I do? I did everything. That's what I did. But you should have asked. I would have helped." It's a scene that seemed very similar to many new parents, and I thought it said a lot about how things get organized at that stage in our lives. When a man expects his partner to ask him to do things, he's viewing her as the manager of the household chores. So it's up to her to know what needs to be done and when. The problem with that is that planning and organizing things is already a full-time job. For example, at work, once I started managing projects, I quickly stopped participating in them because I didn't have the time. So when we ask women to take on this task of organization and at the same time to execute a large portion, in the end, it represents 75% of their work. Let's call this work the mental load. The mental load means always having to remember. Remember that you have to add cotton buds to the shopping list. Remember that today is the deadline to order your vegetable delivery for the week. Remember that we should have paid the caretaker for last month's work by now. That the baby grew another 3 centimeters and can't fit into his trousers anymore. That he needs to get his booster shot. Or that your partner doesn't have a clean shirt left. Mental load is almost completely borne by women. It's permanent and exhausting work, and it's invisible. Most men I know say that they do their share of household chores. Their partners have a rather different perspective. He always puts on the washing machine but never hangs the washing out to dry. The sheets could be standing stiff before he thought to change them. He's never cooked a single meal for the baby. For me, the fact that this load exists becomes obvious when I decide to take care of a simple chore, like cleaning the table. I start by picking something up to put it away, but on the way I come across a dirty towel that I go put in the laundry basket, which I find full, so I go to the washing machine, and I see the vegetables that I need to put in the fridge. As I'm putting away the vegetables, I realize that I need to add mustard to the shopping list, so on and so forth. In the end, I'll have cleared away my table after 2 hours. If I ask my partner to clear the table, he'll just clear the table. The towel will stay on the floor, the vegetables will rot on the kitchen counter, and we won't have any more mustard for dinner. Like when my friend Jay, on her way to bed, asked her husband, "Can you take the baby's bottle out of the dishwasher when it's done?" And getting up for the first nightly feed, found the dishwasher open and with just the bottle on the counter and everything else still inside. Let me know if you need help. What our partners are really saying when they ask us to tell them what needs to be done is that they refuse to take on their share of the mental load. Of course, there's nothing genetic or innate about this behavior. We are not born with an all-consuming passion for clearing tables, just like boys aren't born with an utter disinterest for things lying around. But we are born in a society in which very early on we are given dolls and miniature vacuum cleaners, and which it seems shameful for boys to like these same toys. In which we see our mothers in charge of household management, while our fathers only execute instructions. And in which culture and media essentially portray women as mothers and wives, while men are heroes who go on fascinating adventures away from home. This conditioning will take effect from our earlier years and into adulthood. And while women are more and more present in the workforce, they still remain the only ones in charge of the household. When we become mothers, this double responsibility blows up in our face. 11 days after we go through the ordeal of giving birth, our partner goes back to work and it seems normal to him. During this time, while recovering from our stitches in between 2 sleepless nights, we'll be thinking about everything that concerns the baby. Once we are back at work, things will get so hellish that it will feel less exhausting to keep doing everything rather than to battle with our partner so that he does his share. That's why you find fathers with children who are already a few years old and who still don't know where to buy their clothes, what to feed them, when they need their next vacation, or even the nanny's phone number. First, there's nothing forcing us to do all this. The problem is that when we stop, the whole family suffers. Most of us feel resigned to the fact that we are alone in bearing the mental load, nibbling away at our work or leisure time just so we can manage everything. I already know what some people are gonna say, especially men, that it's not true. I take care of half the chores at home. In that case, just as well, but try to confirm it with your partner. If things are like that in your home, it still doesn't change the problem statistically. Women are still the ones managing household chores. And if this gap has been narrowing, it's not because men are doing more, but because wealthier households outsource these tasks, most often to poor immigrant women. We can't really say that it's a good solution. To change, it seems clear that men have to learn to feel that their home is also their responsibility. For a start, it would be great if fathers insisted on their right to be with their family in the first months of their child's life. Right now, only feminists are demanding longer paternity leave, and without much success. It's time to take the lead. It can also help to start from the beginning and to divide up recurrent and non-critical chores, even if that means becoming a bit more tolerant of stuff lying around. And also sometimes simply leaving the house without preparing everything beforehand and not feeling guilty about it. A role reversal can often be more effective than confrontation. And of course, raising our children as far away as possible from stereotypes to offer them a fairer future than the one we have got. If you like this video, then give it a big fat thumbs up. Share it with your friends and family. Subscribe to my channel for more videos and don't forget to hit the notification bell.